Where is...
Your creepy caterpillar friend? 2 days ago it climbed up that wall and spun itself into that. It's changing.
Hello! It's been a while, hasn't it? Like a beautiful butterfly, I emerge from my chrysalis in a new form, and just in time for Wonderstorm to show off their teaser for Season 4 of The Dragon Prince. This reveal came in the form of the new intro sequence for the next phase of the saga, titled Mystery of Aaravos. The mysterious Startouch Elf is clearly going to be a major focus for the upcoming seasons, and we'll see more about his background and motivations, which I know much of the fanbase will be excited for. For now though, let's take a quick look at the new sequence and see what we can learn. It starts as Aravos unfurls a scroll on a table, a nice callback to the series' opening way back in the first episode. However, this time, instead of a map of the continent, Aravos reveals a star chart showing what appear to be the constellations of Zadia. Multiple figures are shown, including dragons and elves. But there's a couple here that really caught my attention. First is the tree sprouting from a book, which I think could be Ilarion. In the poem Midnight Star, which tells how Aravos bestowed his gift upon humanity, Ilarion is portrayed as a tree, described as having bone-white branches and wilting in the dark. Once humans bow to Aravos, their twisted roots spread deep and far. I think the tree here could be the city of Ilarion, and the book it is rooted to is the knowledge of dark magic granted by Aravos, which became the foundation of humanity's power and use of magic. Another intriguing figure is that of a Startouch Elf, embracing the single largest star shown on the star chart. This figure appears young and childlike, and could possibly be a younger Aravos. But what really interests me here is that this constellation is made of a single star. All of the other constellations are made up of multiple stars, with the lines drawn between them to show the images they create, but not this one. This constellation is but one star, a single beacon of light, set apart from all the others. It's also worth noting that the halo that is formed around the star actually makes the symbol used to represent the star arcanum, although it is flipped upside down. Is there a deeper meaning to this? If the arcanum's imagery has been flipped, does that mean that the Startouch Elves and their source of magic is somehow corrupted, which itself led to dark magic? The sequence continues, zooming past Nebula before panning down from the night sky to show a character everyone knows well by now. Viren, gazing up at the stars above, looking scuffed and worn, reaches up towards the night sky. As he slowly turns to stone, the Dark Mage sheds a single tear. I love the imagery here, as Viren's petrification perfectly mirrors Thunder's own death that we saw back in Season 3. Both reach out, upwards, and shed a tear upon their now stone cheek. This nicely ties back to a central theme of the show, the cycle of violence humans, elves and dragons have inflicted on each other. Though the races have their differences, their capacity for hurting each other is one thing they have in common. Though there are similarities, I think the reason for these characters' final pose may be different. The Archdragon was reaching out to his son, the as yet unborn Ozymandias, whose egg was left high atop the Stormspire. Avazandum's final moments were of grief, but also driven by love. This may be reflected in Viren's pose. Perhaps the Dark Mage is also reaching towards someone he holds dear, like his daughter Claudia, or the son he pushed away, Soren. However, Viren's reach reminds me of a section of the poem Midnight Star. I know I'm bringing that up again, but Ilarion is likely going to be a key part of Aravos' and humanity's backstories, so I'm not going to dismiss this. Anyway, the passage reads, Ilarion, frightened waif, reached bone-white branches to the night. The stars she asked their light to cast and stop the dragon's fiery might. Ilarion, unworthy whelp, wept as the stars turned black the sky. They donned their masks, they turned their backs, and left Ilarion to die. Viren is shown reaching up towards the night sky, towards the stars, and sheds a tear as he gets no response. Viren has always sought power, claiming he wants to ensure
A bright future for humanity.
this search led him to Aravos, and, like Alarion, he has caught the Startouch Elf's attention. So Viren may not be, in his final moments, reaching out for his children, but is instead reaching out to Aravos. Only once the petrification is complete does Aravos pick up the now stone Viren, a mere figurine in the graceful elf's hands. Viren is revealed to be a pawn in whatever game the Startouch Elf is playing. In chess, a pawn can be a useful piece, sometimes the first line of attack when skillfully used, and even capable of being made into a powerful piece. But pawns are easily sacrificed to protect the more valuable pieces on the board. Aravos will not be concerned with sacrificing Viren to secure victory in the long term, and perhaps to protect other, more valuable pieces he has on the board. Perhaps pieces like Claudia. This also drives home that Aravos' machinations are far beyond the petty desires of humans, other elves, or even dragons. The Startouch Elf is playing the long game, and will happily manipulate whoever he needs to in order to see his own goal. This Startouch Elf is playing the long game, and will happily manipulate whoever he needs to in order to see his own goal. This Startouch Elf is playing the long game, and will happily. This Startouch Elf is playing the long game, and will happily manipulate whoever he needs to in order to see his own goals fulfilled. And finally, the title of the second phase of the Dragon Prince saga is revealed, Mystery of Aaravos. Nice title, but have you noticed the falling points of light in the sky? There are 9 of them in total. The brightest, most prominent one lands in Aravos' name, while 8 others are shown behind. The star in Aravos' name, I believe, represents Aravos himself, while the other points of light are the other Startouch Elves. If these do represent other Startouch Elves, I think we'll either see them in the upcoming seasons, or we'll at least learn what happened to them. There's some great teasers and hints in this footage we've been given. Though it's been a long time coming, it's great to see the show is alive and well, and we've got a lot more to look forward to in future seasons. Thank you so much for watching. I know it's been a while since my last video. Yeah, that's a long time. I'll try not to leave such a big gap between videos in the future. Until then, stay safe, and I'll see you next time.